Love after 60. A man who truly loves you will ask these 5 questions. The truth no one tells you.
Welcome to Wise Life After 60. So grateful to have you here. Ladies and gentlemen, in a world filled with fleeting interactions, polished photos, and curated versions of love, it's easy to lose sight of what real connection looks like. We're taught to believe that love reveals itself through gifts, compliments, or grand declarations. But none of these on their own prove anything lasting. In truth, the measure of love is not how loudly someone says it, but how deeply they seek to understand you. By the time we reach our 60s, we've all learned that affection can be playful, warm, and even sincere, yet still not the same as commitment. Real love, especially in love after 60, goes further. It leans into silence, into discomfort, into vulnerability, because that is where your truth lives. And a man who truly loves you will not be satisfied with surface-level conversations. He will want to look past the version of you that the world sees and reach the person you really are. This is the quiet difference between comfort and devotion. A relationship without curiosity eventually drifts into indifference, but a relationship with genuine love is marked by questions. Thoughtful questions, not asked once out of politeness, but repeated over time with presence and intent. That is the psychology of true love. It is not passive. It is active. It is not content to coexist. It pursues, it notices, it asks. So today I want to share 5 of those questions. If a man asks you these, you don't have to guess whether he truly loves you. His words will tell you. His care will reveal itself, and his curiosity will become your answer. Before we jump in, if something I share today touches your own journey in dating after 60, I'd be grateful if you'd subscribe to Wise Life After 60 and take a moment to leave a comment with your own thoughts on what true love means to you. Because what we're about to explore isn't about theory or fleeting romance. It's about the subtle signs, the quiet questions that show when a man's heart is truly invested. And the first question may surprise you.
Question 1. How are you really doing? One of the quietest yet most telling questions a man who truly loves you will ask is this: how are you really doing? We hear those words often, don't we? The cashier at the store might ask, a neighbor passing by, even an old friend on the phone. But most of the time, it's routine. We give the polite answer, I'm fine, and move on. Yet when a man truly loves you, he doesn't accept the surface. He notices the pause, the tone in your voice, the way your eyes shift. And when he asks, how are you really doing? He is really saying, your truth matters to me. I once heard a woman in her 70s share about her late husband. She said, what I cherished most was that he never believed my I'm fine. He'd sit quietly until I could share what was really in my heart. That kind of patience is not about fixing every problem. It's about proving that your inner world matters just as much as your outer one. In many ways, that is what love after 60 looks like. Not sweeping gestures, but quiet presence. At this stage in life, our struggles often look different from they did in our younger years. They're not always about chasing careers or raising families. They might be about health, about adjusting to retirement, about missing loved ones we've lost. In senior romance, a man who truly loves you won't avoid those truths. He will sit with them, he will ask, and he will listen. Psychologists remind us that genuine love is built on attention. Not just hearing words, but understanding the emotions underneath. When a man asks how you're really doing, he is stepping outside of himself to enter your world. Not the polished version, not the mask you show others, but the evolving person you really are. This is what gives such depth to senior relationships. They are sustained not by shallow chatter, but by meaningful curiosity. Infatuation delights in your laughter, but true love will sit with your tears. A man who only seeks the lighter moments may bring comfort, but he cannot bring closeness. The one who dares to ask how you truly are is the one who wants to know the whole of you, the joy and the ache, the fears and the hopes. So when you hear this question asked sincerely, notice it, receive it. Because in that moment, you are not just being cared for, you are being seen. And being truly seen is one of the rarest gifts of dating after 60. Still, love is not only about who we are today, it's also about who we are becoming. And that brings us to another question, one that looks beyond the present into the possibilities of growth.
Question 2. What can I do to help you grow? There is a question that shows a man's love in a way few others can. He may lean toward you and ask, "What can I do to help you grow?" At first, it might sound unusual. Growth is something many of us associate with youth, with building careers, raising families, or discovering new ambitions. But the truth is, growth never stops. Even in love after 60, we are still evolving. Growth may not be about climbing ladders anymore. It might be about nurturing health, deepening wisdom, exploring creativity, or simply learning to live with more peace. When a man asks how he can support your growth, he is saying something profound. I see you not as someone finished, but as someone still becoming. He is not content to keep you where you are. He wants to walk beside you as you continue unfolding into new parts of yourself. There is an old Chinese proverb that says, "To love someone deeply gives you strength. Being loved deeply gives you courage." A man who truly loves you will give you both the strength to keep moving forward and the courage to keep reaching for what matters most in your heart. The philosopher Seneca once reminded us, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." In the same way, as long as we love, we must keep learning how to love. A man who asks how he can help you grow is proving that his love is not static, it is alive, attentive, and willing to change alongside you. Let me ask you this. Has anyone ever asked you how they could help you grow? And if not, what would you want the answer to be? Share your thoughts in the comments, because your wisdom might help another woman in her own journey of senior romance. Love that lasts is never about holding one another still. It is about giving each other wings, even late in life. And from that question of growth, we move into another one, a question that asks not about the future, but about the meaning of the bond you share today. Question 3. What is my importance in your life? What does it mean to truly matter in someone's life? There comes a moment in every meaningful relationship when a man dares to ask, "What is my importance in your life?" On the surface, it may sound like a question of insecurity, but if you listen closely, you'll realize it's something much deeper. It's not about fishing for compliments or reassurance. It's about wanting to know the space he truly occupies in your heart. In senior relationships, where time feels more precious, this question becomes a way of saying, "I want to know if I matter, not just in your days, but in your soul."
I once knew a woman named Clara in her early 70s. She had been widowed for nearly a decade when she met someone new, a quiet man named Harold. They spent many afternoons together, sitting in her garden, sipping tea and sharing stories of their lives. One day, Harold surprised her by asking, "Do I make a difference in your life, or am I just passing through?" Clara told me later that the question brought tears to her eyes, not because she doubted his love, but because it revealed how deeply he cared about his role in her world. She looked at him and said, "You are not here to replace what I've lost. You are here to remind me that I still have chapters left to write." For Harold, that answer was enough. He didn't need to be everything. He just needed to know he was something important, something that mattered. That's what makes this question so powerful in Love After 60. It's not about dependence, but about presence. A man who asks this is not simply existing beside you. He wants to know if his presence adds meaning, if his companionship brings light into your days. That question is an act of vulnerability, but also of devotion. It is his way of holding up a mirror, asking if the love he gives is truly felt. Psychologists say that one of the deepest needs in any relationship is significance, the desire to matter to someone else. When a man asks about his importance in your life, he is not seeking control. He is seeking the truth. He wants to know where he stands, and more importantly, where he can stand stronger for you. If you've ever been asked this, you know how intimate it feels. And if you haven't, imagine the courage it takes for someone to ask. That courage itself is a sign of genuine care, because indifference never asks, only love does.
Question 4. How can I support you when you're struggling? This is not the kind of question most people are comfortable asking. Many relationships, especially in the early stages, focus on the lighter parts of life, the fun, the joy, the laughter. But in Love After 60, we know the truth. Struggles come. They may arrive quietly, through health challenges, or loudly, through moments of grief, loneliness, or unexpected change. A man who truly loves you will not avoid these storms. He will ask how he can stand beside you in them. There is a beautiful line from the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. No great thing is created suddenly. That includes love. Real love grows deeper when it learns how to remain steady through hardship. A man who asks how he can support you when you're struggling is showing that his devotion is not conditional. He is saying, "I want to know how to hold you, not just in the sunshine, but in the rain." I once heard someone describe love as the willingness to carry another person's burdens without making them feel like a burden. And that is exactly what this question does. It honors your independence while offering his strength. It tells you that your struggles are not something you must face alone. In senior romance, this is especially powerful. At this stage, many of us carry invisible weights, memories, health concerns, or the quiet ache of missing those we've lost. A man who asks how he can support you when you're struggling is not promising to erase those struggles. He is promising to walk through them with you. That is the kind of love that feels like home. Let me open this to you. When you think about your own life, what kind of support matters most when you're struggling? Is it a listening ear, a steady hand, or simply the presence of someone who won't leave? Share your thoughts in the comments. You never know, your words might be exactly what another woman needs to hear tonight. This kind of question reminds us that true love is not afraid of heaviness.
It is not frightened by tears or silences. It does not disappear when life becomes difficult. Instead, it leans closer, asking, "How can I be here for you in the way you most need?" That is the question of someone whose love is steady, present, and real. And when a man is willing to love you not only through joy, but also through struggle, he will eventually ask the final question, the one that looks ahead, toward the future you might share together.
Question 5. Am I making your life lighter or heavier? There are moments in a quiet evening together when conversation slows and the heart speaks more than the lips. In one of those pauses, he might look at you and gently ask, "Am I making your life lighter or heavier?" It's a vulnerable question because it isn't about what he receives from you, it's about what he gives. It shows a man's awareness that love is not measured only in romance or laughter, but in how his presence affects your spirit day by day. In Love After 60, this kind of question reveals maturity and humility. It says, "Your peace matters more to me than my pride." I once knew a gentleman named Walter who remarried in his 70s. One evening, seeing his wife weary from caring for her health, he asked her quietly, "Am I adding to your burden or easing it?" She later shared that the question itself brought her comfort. It reminded her that she wasn't carrying life alone. His willingness to ask deepened their bond in a way no grand gesture could. Psychologists often say that love matures when we become aware of our impact, not just our intentions. A man who asks whether he lightens your life or makes it heavier is practicing that awareness. He is daring to see himself through your eyes. That kind of self-reflection is rare, and it is one of the purest signs of devotion. In senior romance, this question carries even greater weight, because at this stage we are not searching for someone to impress us with passion. We are longing for someone who steadies us with peace. When he asks this, he is showing that he does not want to be just company, he wants to be comfort. He is proving that his love is not casual, but responsible. True love, in the end, is not about adding weight to each other's shoulders. It is about making the path lighter, the days gentler, and the heart freer. A man who asks this question is telling you, without needing to say the words outright, "My love is here to lift you." And when you put all these questions together, they form something rare, a way to recognize real love without confusion, without guessing.
As I look back on these 5 questions, I realize they are not just words to be spoken. They are markers of love in its truest form. How are you really doing? What can I do to help you grow? What is my importance in your life? How can I support you when you're struggling? And am I making your life lighter or heavier? Together, they form a quiet language of devotion. In Love After 60, it's easy to believe that all the great questions have already been asked, that the time for discovery has passed. But the truth is, love remains alive as long as curiosity remains alive. These questions prove that genuine love is never finished learning, never finished listening, never finished caring. I think of it this way. Anyone can tell you they love you, but only someone who truly means it will ask these things. Only someone committed to your heart will want to know your truth, your growth, your struggles, your meaning, and the weight of their presence in your life. These questions are not small talk. They are the very heartbeat of senior romance and the wisdom of love that has endured the years. So if you find yourself in a relationship where these questions are asked with sincerity, hold it gently. That kind of love is rare and it is real. And if you are still waiting, Don't lose heart, because the right man, when he comes, will not only cherish your presence, he will seek to understand your soul. If this reflection touched something in you, I'd be honored if you'd subscribe to Wise Life After 60 so we can keep walking this journey together. Love isn't measured by the words we hear, but by the questions that reach our soul. Keep your heart open, care for your spirit, and until we meet again, may you always be surrounded by love that truly sees you.